Most people never notice the most important second of their lives. It's not when you get married, not when you're hired, fired, celebrated, or betrayed. It's the moment, right after your eyes open in the morning, before your memories return. That instant, when you don't quite remember who you are yet, when you haven't checked your phone, or remembered your worries, or tightened your body for the weight of the day, that is the doorway. And almost no one walks through it, because we've been conditioned to miss it. You see, right after waking there is no script. Your past hasn't latched on yet. Your mind is still soft, like earth before the first footsteps. You are open, receptive, undefined. Your nervous system hasn't booted up the stress it normally wears like armor, and in that tiny holy sliver of time, you are more powerful than you will be all day. But almost every soul rushes right past it. Instead, we reach for our identity, for our roles, for the familiar worries. We remember who we were yesterday, and unconsciously put the costume back on. The same story, the same energy, the same frequency, all before our feet touch the floor. The world doesn't do this to us. We do it to ourselves, by default, not by decision. And yet, the quantum field listens carefully. It doesn't respond to what you wish for. It mirrors what you broadcast. Your emotions, your attention, your energy, they speak louder than your words. And they begin speaking in that first fragile moment, after you wake, the moment you've been throwing away for years. But what if you didn't? What if you met that space like a sacred threshold? What if instead of rushing to remember your past, you paused and chose your frequency on purpose? What if you didn't ask your mind what the day would bring, but told the universe how you intend to show up in it? That one shift changes everything. Not because it manipulates reality, but because it aligns you with it. The universe doesn't punish or reward. It reflects. It organizes itself around the signal you emit. And that signal is clearest when your system is still soft, when your spirit hasn't put on its mask, when your awareness is pure. This is not philosophy. This is biology. Your brain is still suspended between theta and alpha. That's the space of deep receptivity. Your subconscious, the part of you that actually runs your life, is listening without resistance. What you imprint here becomes the blueprint, not just of your mood, but of your reality. This is why spiritual traditions have always honored the morning as sacred. Not because the sun is special, but because you are. Because in that moment before thought becomes identity, and identity becomes momentum, you are standing at the gateway of infinite potential. You can step through intentionally or fall back into yesterday. The difference is awareness. The power is yours. You are not just waking up, you are broadcasting the first signal of the day. If it's fear, you'll meet resistance. If it's coherence, the field will respond with alignment. Not all at once, but undeniably, over time. So here's the invitation. What if you stopped skipping the most important second of your life? What if instead of letting your subconscious pull you into the past, you greeted the present? What if you whispered something clear, something powerful, into the space where your story hasn't formed yet? Because that is the work. Not to force, not to pretend, but to signal differently. To begin your day as a creator, not a reactor. To hold yourself like the instrument you are, and tune yourself before playing the music of your life. If you feel this message in your spirit, take a moment now. Type this in the comments. I will choose my frequency. In the next part of this experience, I'll give you the first phrase, the one that begins to rewire the way your energy enters the world. But for now, just remember this. The universe isn't waiting for your perfection. It's waiting for your permission. Let's begin with something that sounds so simple, it could be overlooked. But don't let that fool you. These 3 words can open timelines. They are not decoration. They are doorway. The phrase is this: I am open. You are not repeating it like an affirmation. You are invoking it, breathing it into the silence that surrounds you before thought begins. You are not trying to be positive. You are signaling availability. Why does this matter so much? Because the universe, God's source, the quantum field, however you name it, cannot pour new wisdom, new alignment, or new realities into a vessel that is already full of old conclusions. Most people wake up filled with certainty. I know who I am. I know how today will go. I know what I lack. I know what's possible and what's not. But every one of those certainties is a closed door. And a closed door is not where miracles walk in. To say, I am open is not to erase your mind. It's to soften it. It's to step out of prediction and into presence. It tells the intelligence that surrounds you, I'm willing to see differently. I'm willing to be surprised. I'm willing to stop collapsing the day before it begins. And that, right there, is the frequency of transformation. Biologically, this matters more than we're ever taught. When you first awaken, your brain is still in a receptive state. Your default mode network, the part of your brain that constructs the illusion of the you think you are, is temporarily offline. That means you have access to change, not just mentally but physically, energetically, spiritually. You are clay. You are not yet hardened into yesterday. When you speak I am open into that stillness, you are not just making a statement, you are creating a gap, a soft space in your field, a clearing. In that gap, new impressions can land. Coherence can take root. The stories that normally run you, those silent background programs of fear, control, and doubt, pause for just long enough to let in something else. From a quantum perspective, this is not just poetry, it is physics. In those first waking moments, your electromagnetic field is less defined. You haven't tuned to a frequency yet. You're like a still antenna. The first thing you feel, think, breathe. It becomes your broadcast, and the field organizes itself accordingly. I am open begins with the most powerful kind of energy, invitation. Now let's turn this into practice. When you first wake, do not reach for your phone. Don't even reach for your thoughts. Place one hand lightly over your heart. Don't try to feel anything dramatic. Just connect. Let your hand be a reminder that something sacred is returning to life. Take a breath. Slowly, gently. Let your body rise on the inhale and soften on the exhale. No rush, no goal. Just breath as signal. Breath as agreement. Do this 2 more times, feeling into the quiet, not filling it. And then silently or out loud say the phrase I am open, not as performance, but as truth. Don't worry about feeling a surge of clarity. Just notice. Notice what softens, what doesn't. Notice what resists too. That resistance is old programming. It is the voice of certainty. Let it be there, but let the phrase be louder. I am open, not to everything, but to something new, to something real, to something aligned. With repetition, your body starts to trust this moment. Your nervous system begins to associate waking not with urgency, but with softness. You feel less reactive, more perceptive, and you may start to feel something else too. A spaciousness inside you. Like there's room for something higher to enter. That's not imagination. That's resonance. Think of your awareness like soil. When it's packed down with yesterday's beliefs, no seed can grow. But when you say I am open, you till the ground. You loosen the grip of who you were just enough to let something holy move through. This is where new timelines begin. Not in grand declarations, but in tiny, consistent shifts in frequency. Some may hear this and think, but won't I be too vulnerable? Too exposed? Too soft? But openness is not weakness. It is strength without tension. It is standing unguarded, not because you're naive, but because you trust that truth can only land where there is space to receive it. I am open is not passive. It is powerful receptivity. And if you forget, if you wake up rushed, already in your head, don't judge yourself. Don't say you failed. Just return. Any moment can be your beginning again. This practice does not belong to time. It belongs to choice. The field doesn't measure your discipline. It mirrors your signal. Speak it sincerely, and it listens. Once you've opened the space with the first phrase, something new begins to stir. But opening alone isn't enough. There must also be grounding. That's where the second phrase enters. I am supported. These 3 words don't just shift your mindset. They recalibrate your nervous system. They teach your body something it forgot in survival. You're not alone in this. Most people wake up already bracing, even before they remember why. There's a quiet tension, a subtle tightening of the chest, a weight pressing into the body. This is the nervous system preparing for war, for deadlines, for conversations, for things unseen but already felt. But imagine what changes when you begin the day by telling your body, you are held. You don't have to fight first thing in the morning. I am supported isn't wishful thinking. It's a recalibration. Biologically, your system is always scanning your environment, asking, am I safe? Most of the time it answers no. Not because you're in danger, but because your body has never learned to trust stillness. It expects to be under siege, and so, your chemistry floods with cortisol, your breathing shortens, your thoughts spiral, and you start the day in defense. But when you gently breathe and speak this phrase, I am supported, you interrupt that ancient pattern. You shift the internal question from what must I control today, to what am I ready to receive. Your brain chemistry begins to adjust. Stress signals lessen. Your heart rhythm evens out. A deeper part of you begins to soften. From a quantum perspective, this is crucial. Because when your frequency is chaotic, when your signal is built from fear, urgency, or control, the field reflects that same turbulence back. The universe doesn't misunderstand. It responds precisely. But when you begin the day with the vibration of trust, the field reconfigures, possibilities shift, outcomes soften. What once felt blocked begins to bend. This is not performance. You're not declaring this phrase because you feel supported. You're declaring it to remember that support is available, even when invisible. You're not pretending. You're inviting. You're saying to the field, I am willing to stop holding everything alone. I am ready to be guided by something wiser than fear. Let's turn this into practice. After you've said, I am open, keep your hand on your heart, or move it gently to your belly. Breathe once, feel the warmth of your skin, then softly speak, or silently whisper, I am supported. Not to convince, not to control, but to remember. Breathe again, and let your shoulders fall. Let your jaw unlock. Let the breath show your body what your words cannot. If your mind argues, but I'm not supported, I'm overwhelmed, I'm behind, don't fight that voice. Just don't feed it. Notice it. Smile if you can. And say again, I am supported. Because in that act, you are introducing a new imprint into your body's memory. One that doesn't come from past trauma but from present alignment. Over time, this begins to rewire you. The body remembers how to settle. The mind no longer defaults to defense. And your energy field, once jagged and rigid, becomes more fluid, more receptive. This is coherent. This is what the mystics felt in silence, and what modern science now measures in waves and rhythms. You begin to meet life not with armor but with awareness. You find yourself less reactive to friction, more available for clarity. You begin noticing small signs, support appearing in subtle forms, a conversation, a solution, a softness in the way the day unfolds. Not because life became easier, but because your signal became cleaner. There's a woman I once guided, who began this morning ritual at a time when everything felt uncertain. Her health, her finances, her future. At first, these words felt empty, but she stayed with them. Not to change the world, but to change her relationship to it. And then one morning, clarity came. Not as a lightning bolt, but as a breath, a knowing, a small shift in posture. And from that new place her life began moving. You don't have to force belief. You only have to allow possibility. I am supported is not a conclusion. It's an opening. You're not claiming the outcome. You're claiming the vibration. And that's all the field needs to begin organizing itself around something more graceful. By now the field around you is listening more closely. Your nervous system is slower. Your signal is steadier. And you've declared two profound truths. I am open. I am supported. Now we complete the trilogy with a phrase that turns stillness into motion. That phrase is, I am ready. Do not underestimate the power of those three words. Many desire change, but few are actually available for it. Most carry silent contracts with their limitations. They say they want healing, but hold on tightly to the identity of the wounded. They say they want freedom, but secretly cling to the control that pain provides. I am ready is not about wanting, it's about surrendering to what you asked for. This phrase creates a powerful internal shift. It says to the field, I am no longer just hoping, I am choosing. You're not begging the universe to deliver. You're stepping into the timeline where you already receive. Readiness is a frequency, and when you speak it from the space of truth, the quantum field begins matching you with moments that mirror that readiness. Let's make something clear. Readiness is not the same as preparation. You don't have to know how it's going to happen. You don't have to feel confident. You only have to be willing to say, even if I feel uncertain, I am available for what's next. This is what moves you out of passive longing into embodied alignment. Neuroscience confirms this. Your brain contains a filter called the reticular activating system. It decides what you notice in the world based on your internal focus. When you declare, I am ready, you prime that system to look for signals of possibility instead of threats. You begin to perceive the doorways you used to walk past. Opportunities that once felt invisible become suddenly obvious, and in your body a similar transformation unfolds. You shift from passivity into presence, not fight or flight, but readiness. Engagement without force. Participation without panic. Your energy becomes alert in a calm way. Alive, but not frantic. The frequency of yes begins to move through you. Here's how to practice it. After saying I am open, and I am supported, breathe deeply once more. Place your hand gently on your side or keep it over your heart. And with a slow exhale, say aloud or within, I am ready. Speak it into your cells, into the space between thoughts, not to demand, but to declare. This is your agreement, your nod to the field that you're no longer hiding in hesitation. You don't have to feel fireworks. You may just feel a stillness, or a slight lift in your chest, or nothing at all at first. What matters is that you said it, and meant it, because the field doesn't respond to volume, it responds to vibration, and even a whisper carries power when it's coherent. The sequence is complete now. I am open, invites. I am supported, receives. I am ready, initiates. Together, they move you from unconscious survival to conscious creation, from trying to manifest through force, to aligning with what's already waiting for you in the invisible. But this is where many make mistakes. They treat this like a spell or a quick fix. They rush through the phrases, they say them without presence, they use them to bargain with the universe. They expect instant reward. But this practice is not a vending machine. It is a tuning ritual, a conversation between your frequency and your future. So let's refine your practice. First, slow down. If you only have 2 minutes in the morning, give each phrase the space to breathe. Don't rush from one to the next. Let them land. Let them echo. Let them become your tone. Second, release the idea of testing. This isn't about saying the right words to manipulate reality. It's about becoming someone who feels aligned enough to receive. And third, remember this. These phrases are not meant to force a feeling. They are meant to invite a frequency. If you feel resistance, it's okay. Don't fix it. Don't argue with it. Just stay with the breath. Stay with the truth, beneath the noise. The more you show up, the more the signal stabilizes. The more your body begins to believe you. The more your field organizes around you. Now that you've understood the energy behind each phrase, I am open. I am supported. I am ready. It's time to bring them together. Not just as concepts, but as a living frequency. A morning ritual so simple you could overlook it, and yet so powerful it can reorganize the way your body and soul enter the day. This isn't just a habit. It's a spiritual technology, a conscious blueprint that helps you tune your entire system before the world tunes it for you. You don't need incense or mantras. You don't need to sit cross-legged for an hour. All you need is willingness, presence, breath, and the courage to meet your first waking moment as a sacred threshold, not a transition. The universe is not asking you to perform. It is simply asking, what signal are you sending? Here's how it works. When you wake up, before the mind starts scanning, before you touch your phone, pause. Do nothing. Just notice. You are not your name yet. You are not your schedule. You are still suspended in softness where your electromagnetic field is malleable and your mind is listening. Now, place one hand gently over your heart or your belly. Let this gesture anchor you in your body. Feel your warmth, your aliveness, your presence. Close your eyes, or keep them soft. You are not here to think. You are here to tune. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Let your belly rise. Hold it briefly. Then exhale slowly through your mouth. longer than your inhale. Let tension fall off your shoulders. Do this twice more, 3 breaths total. With each breath, allow the mind to soften, the body to settle, and the space within you to widen. On your next inhale, whisper internally or aloud, "I am open." As you exhale, let that phrase dissolve into your body. Feel what it does, not intellectually but energetically. You don't have to feel perfect. You just have to feel present. Inhale again. This time, silently speak, "I am supported." Exhale slowly. Let your body lean into the phrase, like it's leaning into a safety it forgot was possible. Let your jaw soften. Let your breath teach your nervous system that it's safe to receive. Final breath in. And with your exhale, declare gently, "I am ready." Not as a demand, not as a plan, but as a vibration of willingness. You don't have to know the next step, just that you are no longer hiding from it. Let the air move through you, like a yes. Now pause. Just rest in that stillness. No forcing, no effort. Simply notice how it feels to begin your day in alignment, rather than anxiety. Notice how your thoughts feel quieter, how your chest feels less crowded, how your frequency feels more clear than chaotic. This entire ritual takes less than 2 minutes, but if done consistently, it begins to reprogram your entire energetic baseline, not just your mood, but your magnetism. You become a steadier signal, less reactive, more receptive. You begin attracting experiences that match your field, not your fears. The key is consistency, not perfection, not performance, just the commitment to show up. Even if you forget some mornings or feel nothing in the moment, trust this, your field is listening. Your cells are listening, and the more often you practice, the more they respond, not with drama, but with alignment. Think of it like tuning a stringed instrument. At first the tone might still wobble, but over time each phrase helps bring you into harmony with yourself, with the field, and with the possibilities waiting in silence. Now that you've begun this sacred morning ritual, you may already feel a shift, perhaps subtle, perhaps strong, but like tuning an instrument, keeping your field clear requires awareness. This is not about doing the ritual perfectly, it's about recognizing the small ways we unconsciously scatter the very signal we just tuned. Let's name them, not to shame ourselves, but to gently guide the way back to alignment when the static creeps in. Mistake 1. Rushing. This is the most common. You begin the ritual, but your mind is already thinking of emails, deadlines, dishes. You say the words, but your body is still holding tension. Remember, the phrases don't work by magic. They work through coherence, and coherence requires presence. If you're short on time, do fewer breaths, but give them your full attention. 1 breath, fully felt, is more powerful than 5 done with distraction. Mistake 2. Using the ritual to manipulate. When we speak these phrases with the hidden belief that they are a transaction, if I say this, I'll get what I want, we move out of trust and back into control. The quantum field does not respond to pressure, it responds to resonance. The goal is not to force an outcome, but to become someone whose signal naturally attracts what aligns. Mistake 3. Expecting instant euphoria. Some days you'll feel peaceful after this practice. Other days you'll feel nothing. That's normal. These phrases are not spells, they are frequency anchors. They are planting seeds, not fireworks. Do not measure their value by immediate sensation. Trust that your energy field is reorganizing quietly beneath the surface. Mistake 4. Turning the ritual into another task. If you treat it like something to check off your morning list, the spirit dissolves. This is not a productivity hack. It's a sacred reset. A reintroduction to who you really are before the day tells you otherwise. Even if it takes just 90 seconds, let it feel like ceremony. Mistake 5. Doubting repetition. You might hear a voice in your head say, "This is too simple to matter." But the truth is, simplicity is power when applied consistently. You don't need new techniques every day. You need to become a steady signal. Repetition trains your body to trust new states. It creates new neural patterns. And over time it changes what feels normal inside you. If any of these mistakes happen, and they will, that's not failure. That's simply feedback. Your job is not to be perfect. Your job is to notice when you drift and come back. This is the real practice. Returning without resistance. That's what makes you strong. That's what rewires the pattern. And when you return, do it with softness. You don't have to start over. Just take one breath. Place your hand on your heart. Whisper any one of the 3 phrases. Even a single phrase, spoken with sincerity, can reset your signal in moments. The ritual belongs to you. It travels with you. Use it in the car, at work, in a bathroom stall, in moments of fear, of noise, of uncertainty. It is a portable portal back to alignment. Over time, you'll begin to feel different. Not in a flashy way, but in a steady, grounded way. You'll notice that you're less reactive, more clear. You'll feel more connected to moments of flow, those small synchronicities that feel like invisible guidance. You'll begin to experience what it means to live in coherence, where your inner world and outer world speak the same language. This is not about denying hard things. It's about meeting them from a different vibration. When your nervous system is anchored in I am open, I am supported, I am ready, even challenge becomes a messenger, not a threat. You begin to feel like the sky vast, unshaken even when the weather moves through. And perhaps most powerfully, this practice begins to show you who you are without the noise, without the performance, without the story. You meet the part of yourself that was never broken, never small, never separate from the field. That self doesn't beg for miracles. It becomes the miracle by existing in alignment. You've traveled through each phrase now not as words but as frequencies. You've seen how your mornings are more than just routines. They're portals. You've remembered that you are not simply waking into a world already formed. You are meeting a reality that is waiting for your signal to take shape. Every day the field listens. And now you've learned how to speak. This is not about magic. It is about alignment. The moment you breathe consciously into your morning, you interrupt momentum. You pause the automatic loop. You change the root note of the day's song. And from that one shift, everything downstream begins to reorganize, not because you pushed harder, but because you tuned deeper. The truth is, you are never just thinking. You are broadcasting. You are never just waking up. You are transmitting. And now you know how to do it with intention, with softness, with coherence. Every time you say, I am open, the field hears, I'm no longer trapped in the story. Every time you say, I am supported, your nervous system hears, I can let go. And every time you say, I am ready, your future whispers back, so are we. The changes may begin subtly. A different kind of peace in the morning. Less reactivity to chaos. A sense of guidance where there used to be confusion. But make no mistake, your signal is shifting, and when the signal shifts, reality listens. Not instantly, not dramatically, but undeniably. Life begins to bend toward your clarity. And if you ever slip, if you wake up caught in fear, in stress, in looping thoughts, just return. The ritual doesn't require you to be perfect. It only asks you to be present. One breath, one hand over your heart, one phrase, sincerely spoken. That's all it takes to realign your signal. The universe is not keeping score. It is keeping rhythm with your frequency. Because you are not here to chase blessings. You are here to become a clear space where blessings arrive naturally. You don't force miracles into existence. You create conditions where they land easily. You don't chase healing. You return to the signal that wholeness already recognizes. You don't beg for change. You become change. And in that becoming, you start to see how little force is actually required. You understand that the most powerful shifts happen not in striving, but in softening. Not in louder declarations, but in quieter truths. I am open. I am supported. I am ready. You speak them, not to get something, but to remember who you've always been beneath the noise. You are the instrument, and you are the music. The clearer you are, the clearer the response. Reality doesn't mirror your words. It mirrors your vibration. And your vibration begins with your choice. Not someday, not later, but in that sacred second when you first return to this world. That breath, that phrase, that signal. So as you move forward, remember this. Every morning is a rebirth. A chance to send out a frequency of calm, of trust, of alignment. You are not late. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply tuned. And every moment you choose coherence. You bring yourself one step closer to living as the version of you that already exists in the unseen. If this journey has touched something inside you, take a moment now, not to comment for me, but for yourself. Declare it, claim it, speak it aloud, or write it down. I am aligned. Let the words anchor your intention. Let them become the closing tone of this transformation, because this is not an ending. It is the beginning of something real. A different way of waking, a different way of being, one that doesn't seek the light from outside, but remembers that you are the light. You are the tuning fork, the transmitter, the bridge between vision and form. Every morning, you get to choose again. So wake up slowly, wake up gently, wake up powerfully, and above all, wake up on purpose.